Liverpool, the city that is famous as the birthplace of one of the greatest rock bands of all time. But I think even nowadays, the Beatles themselves can't say that they are as big as the city's storied football club, especially the one that wears red. Just like the Beatles, this club has toured around the world to over 30 different countries, selling out venues to thousands of fans, and leaving a mark in every city that they play in. Even with every away or neutral ground that the club has stepped foot in, there's no place like home, as the cliche goes. That home is on the red side of Merseyside. In today's installment of Stadium Safari, we will explore the history of Anfield. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the like button for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to show your support and be on the lookout for future videos. Located in the suburb with the same name, Anfield sits on Anfield Road in Liverpool, Merseyside, England. Being built and opened in 1884 with a current capacity of 53,394, making it the 7th largest stadium in England. The lone tenant of the ground is Liverpool Football Club of the Premier League. The construction cost is unknown. Beginning the journey in 1884, a landowner in the Anfield suburb, John Orwell, initially built Anfield for Liverpool council member John Holding, who was one of the founders of Liverpool's nemesis, Everton Football Club. Initially, Everton was the first real tenant of Anfield when it was first built, as Orwell and Holding were friends in the beginning. Holding would rent the ground from Orwell for Everton to play their home matches, despite Everton being founded and located in the Everton section of Liverpool. The first official match at Anfield was on September 28, 1884, between Everton and Earlstown, where Everton would win 5-0. The relationship between Orwell and Holding would only last 8 years after the two could not agree for Orwell to have full ownership of Anfield, along with other disputes among Everton's ownership committee. Technically, Holding dismissed himself from the committee despite helping foresee the operations of the club. Orwell would burn a bridge with Holding as he would move the club into a new ground exactly around the corner from Anfield. Everton would play at Goodison Park starting in 1892, which I will highlight in a future video. With the move leaving Holding without a tenant for the stadium, he would establish his own club to rival Everton. June 3rd, 1892 would be the birth date of Liverpool Football Club. Nicknamed the Reds, they would be the new home tenants of Anfield and would don the color red to oppose Everton's blue colors, which they are known as the Blues. Just a little side note, I think it's kind of funny how when you look at rivalries, each side always has blue and red as their colors. What is with blue and red being the main colors of some of the fiercest rivalries in sports history? Leave your comments down below and tell me what you think of that. Liverpool's first ever match at Anfield was a friendly against Rotherham Town on September 1st, 1892, winning 7-1 in front of 200 fans. Their first official league fixture at Anfield was on September 9, 1893 against Lincoln City, winning 4-0 with 5,000 spectators in attendance. In 1895, Anfield would add a 3,000-seat stand and would continue to add seating throughout the early 1900s. In 1906, after Liverpool won their second Premier League title, a new section of the ground was built on the Walton Breck Road end, which was deemed as the Spion Kop by Liverpool Echo and Daily Post sports editor Ernest Edwards. The name was in honor of the British soldiers who lost their lives in the Battle of Spion Kop during the Boer War in 1900. Many of the soldiers a part of the regiment in the battle were Liverpool natives. Simultaneously, the Kimlin Road stand would be built as well and has significance to Anfield's history. 1928 would be the year when the Kop section would grow to a 30,000 seat section, which can occupy more than half of Anfield's overall capacity alone, and was one of the largest Kop sections in England at the time. The Kop has become famous to club football fans as the section is where you would see the enthusiastic Liverpool supporters holding their scarves, raising tifos, and shouting their chants during every home match. As for Kimlin Road, the stand would expand to 6,700 seating capacity and be converted into a cantilevered stand, which means that it would make the section built at a slant and standing room only in 1963. This was common for many of the stadiums in England at the time, but this design style would become obsolete in the worst of ways. As a reminder, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit the like button for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to show your support and be on the lookout for future videos. Going to the 1980s, Anfield would still receive many modifications to its 4 famous stands as ticket sales began to grow immensely due to Liverpool's success in the Premier League and European football competition. The stands would receive roof coverings and would also accommodate for more seating, Long before this happened, Anfield would also be installed with lights back in 1957 to host night matches. Many of England's stadiums had mostly standing sections for supporter groups to fill in on match days. However, that all changed after a devastating day in Liverpool's history. On April 15, 1989, Liverpool was scheduled to face off against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup semi-final at the neutral site of Hillsborough Stadium, the home ground for Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. Liverpool fans would make the trip from Liverpool to Sheffield to watch their team clinch a berth to play in the FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium. If you ever watched a European soccer match on television, you probably noticed that there are a large number of fans for the away team sitting in one section of the stadium. That is because of the activity of the separation and crowd control between fans of both teams. The same is done for neutral site matches as well. Due to Hillsborough's seating structure, fans would stand on top of each other when watching the match. However, the excessive large crowd exceeded Hillsborough's seating capacity of 39,732. Leppings Lane End, the section where the Liverpool fans were designated, was not up to code at the time of the match. Even with the reinforced netting, fans were toppled over by the excess crowd capacity. This resulted in 776 people being injured or escorted to the hospital. Unfortunately, 96 Liverpool fans died from the event that would be known as the Hillsborough Disaster. The match would be postponed for 5 weeks and moved to Old Trafford in Manchester, the home ground of Manchester United. Liverpool would win the match and beat rival Everton in the FA Cup final edition of the Merseyside Derby in '89, while honoring the victims of the Hillsborough '96. During the aftermath of the Hillsborough disaster, it was written in what is known as the Taylor Report that the cause of the disaster was most likely due to a lack of police control. In addition, it was written in the report that all stadiums in England should convert to becoming an all-seater stadiums by May 1994, which led to the Kemlyn Road end at Anfield being converted to an all-seater section. This also included the Kop, which was a standing section at the time as well. In 2002, there were talks of building a new stadium for Liverpool. Then club CEO Rick Perry created plans to build Stanley Park, which would have been a shared stadium for Everton as well. This plan was attempted multiple times throughout the mid-2000s until it was cancelled after the club was bought from the Fenway Sports Group, the same ownership group of the Boston Red Sox led by John Henry, after it was reported that the club was dealing with financial issues. FSG had no plans to move the club from Anfield after the acquisition. Instead, they planned to give Anfield modern touches around the ground and expand the capacity to suitable levels. Overall, the Stanley Park plan was scrapped when the current ownership group of Liverpool started to go to work on Anfield's makeover. Liverpool fans continue to follow the tradition of remembering the Hillsborough '96 each year. Despite what took place on April 15, 1989, Liverpool fans still follow the tradition that have been inherited into the club's culture as the years go on. As a reminder, if you're enjoying the video, make sure to hit the like button for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to show your support and be on the lookout for future videos. Liverpool is one of the most storied clubs in the world with supporter groups in 100 different countries. The club has set multiple records and has stocked their trophy case with victories from each decade, dating back to when John Holding created his industry baby in 1892. See what I did there? Liverpool has stayed successful in England's top flight and European competition by winning 19 Premier League titles, 7 FA Cups, and winning 6 UEFA Champions League titles. Legends to have graced the pitch at Anfield and Liverpool Red are Ian Rush, Steven Gerrard, Roger Hunt, and even active Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah. Even for the fans that are in attendance on match days in Liverpool, they are also responsible for making Anfield a must-see place to go watch a soccer match. For every home game, the Liverpool faithful greet their club with the singing of "You'll Never Walk Alone" by Jerry and the Peacemakers, which was adopted as the club's anthem during the 1960s. And as always, the Kop put on a display of creativity with their scarves, banners, tifos, and chants for every home match. Anfield is a must-see stadium to visit if you ever make a trip to Liverpool. It has been deemed as one of the best atmospheres in club football and has exceeded the longevity of many stadiums. The Fenway Sports Group continues to add refurbishments to the ground while maintaining the upkeep. I've mentioned before that the average lifespan of stadiums tends to be 30 years. For Anfield, the ground is considered ageless to club football fans around the world. Moreover, the future of Anfield has no ceiling and plans to carry on the legacy for the red side of Merseyside. This concludes today's installment of Stadium Safari. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell to find out about future videos, and let me know what stadiums you want to see next. Thank you for watching, and remember, teams tell the stories, the stadiums illustrate them.